so today we're talking about the best-selling cards under $5 or less. This is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Penny Stock Market Watch. A lot of familiar faces here. What is interesting, of the top 9 selling cards that are under $5 or less, 5 of them are from the Beware of Trap Trick structure deck. If you guys saw my last Market Watch, I talked a lot about the potential of that structure deck, one of the best structure decks we've gotten in a long time. And we've gotten a good amount of really solid structure decks. And this is a penny stock market watch, but I do refer to sets a lot of times. And that set, Beware of Trap Tricks, like that structure deck, you know, we're seeing like Shade, Brigadine, Raigeki, Ash Blossom, Evenly Matched, Hold a Tail. Like we're seeing like the usual suspects, but even like the Mech Knights that are in there, the artifact cards that are in there, the hands that are in there for the legacy support. There's actually a lot of really, really good reprints from that structure deck. Not even just the 5 we're seeing here. So I think it's an absolutely fantastic buy. But you guys do whatever you need to do. We have a couple of new stuff here from Maze of Memories. Let's take a look at this card actually first. Let me see what happened to the other versions. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, I will say, I believe the other versions are, Secret and Ultra Rare. So they're higher rarities. So this is the lowest rarity that Avramax has ever came in. I would pick up your copy, though. This card is a really good generic Link monster, right? You know, it's obviously we know its effect, but in case you don't, when this card is Link summoned, or while this Link summoned card is on the field, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Also, their monsters cannot target text. Target cards for attack, except for this one, once per battle during the damage calculation. If this card battles a special summoned monster, you can make this card gain attack equal to that monster's attack during this damage calculation only. If this Link summon card you control is sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card, you can shuffle a card into the field. So there's just so many great things that this card can do. You know, it has existed well over time, because if you look, this card's first printing was Dark Neostorm, right? Like that, it's a long time ago. And when we look at cards like Boral Sword Dragon, Borreload Dragon, Access Code Talker, you could argue that they power crept this card, but they really didn't. Like, and this card, it has still found its way in the meta, still hanging out, still doing its own thing. Because the thing is, like, Access Code Talker is a really good card unless you don't run unless you're not able to get access to the transcode package, Splashmate transcode package, or you're not able to get to Update Jammer, or, you know, you're not able to banish a bunch of different Link monsters. Like, there's some decks that run one attribute of Link monster. You know, like I know that's not a lot of them, but there are some that are like that. Whereas Avramax might be better in that situation. Like, yes, Access Code Talker can pop a card without your opponent even being able to respond to it, but this card can do a lot of different things as well. So I think it's an absolutely fantastic card. I think it's an absolutely fantastic buy. When we look at this card, though, 95 by Total Rock Gaming, it's going to be rough. Like, this card, if you want to buy this, you're looking at spending a full-on $1. I definitely see it being higher than $1 in maybe a year, but it could be something where, like, 8 months from now, it's still at, like, $1, right? And it could even be a year or 2 years from now. Like, this is definitely a long game thing, because a lot of people do want this card, so a lot of people are buying it. You don't really need to run it in multiple. You don't really need to run it, like, in 3 or 4 of them. But just the simple fact that the other versions are above $5 means that at some point that is probably going to be at least half of that. And if you buy, you know, 30 copies at $1 and they get to $2.50, you know, that's $1.50 profit per card, which comes out to $45, which isn't terrible. That's not terrible gains. But you will have to wait out a little bit, right? Let's take a look at this card real quick. We haven't talked about Red Eyes a lot. I've noticed that. And I think the thing is with Red Eyes, I don't think it's as popular as like Dark Magician and Blue Eyes White Dragon, but I think I might know why, actually. And this card actually kind of exemplifies the issue, right? So this card's name becomes Red Eyes Black Dragon. If you guys don't know what this card does, while this card's on the field or in the graveyard, if your opponent special summons a monsters, except during the damage step, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Special summon a Red Eyes monster from your hand or deck, except itself. You can only use this effect once per turn. You can target a Red Eyes Black Dragon you control, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack, and you can only use that effect once per duel. I don't understand, like, when we look at cards, like, there's a lot of Red Eyes cards that burn, and I don't know why. I feel like that's what's holding this deck back. The fact that, you know, this deck had its options, like Blue Eyes. What does Blue Eyes really do? Blue Eyes just summons Blue Eyes. They summon just these big boss monster, generic normal monsters, which is Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes has the most attack of any normal monster. Summons these big fusion monsters, right, that can attack twice or attack 4 times or whatever. And really that's just kind of all Blue Eyes does, right? I mean, there's other things that Blue Eyes can do depending on your deck build. But for the most part, you're just trying to summon, like I think I saw in the Master Duel tournament, someone was playing Blue Eyes without an extra deck, which is wild, by the way. But it was still able to do Blue Eyes things, because Blue Eyes, even though the Blue Eyes extra deck is insane, and there's a lot of really good things you can do with the extra deck, you really, like, don't need it. You really, to do what the deck is trying to do, you're just trying to summon out big monsters. Like, that's all you're trying to do. And when we look at Dark Magician, you're really trying to control the field a little more with Dark Magical Circle, with Thousand Knives, is that what it's called? The one that pops a card if you control Dark Magician. Dark Magic Attack, obviously. You're just trying to summon out Dark Magician as many times as possible, and then interact with your opponent's cards during that, which is really cool too. But Red Eyes, it just kind of seems like you're trying to summon out a lot of Red Eyes, but because Red Eyes is the smallest, it has to do something else, and the other thing that it does is burns. And burn has never really been great, to be honest. So when I look at this card, I think it's at best a one of. I don't know. I don't see it really taking off, doing anything crazy. But I always try to say this when it comes to what to buy, what not to buy. You buy what you feel you need to buy. If you think buying these 3 Solemn Judgments or 3 copies of these Solemn Judgments or 10 copies of these Solemn Judgments is the move, because you look at the other copies of Solemn Judgment and you realize, oh wait, this card has been really popular ever since it came off the ban list, and the cheapest version of this card is like $3, then you go ahead and buy that. If you think that's a terrible idea, that's a terrible buy, and you want to buy 15 copies of Red Eyes Soul, by all means, do not let me stop you, right? Gate Guardian stuff came out. That's pretty crazy. I did want to mention this card real quick. This card is pretty generic. So it says discard a level 4 or lower plant or insect monster or a normal trap, draw 2 cards. And then you can banish it, target one of your banished level 4 insect or plant monsters or normal traps, place it on the bottom of your deck. So like this card isn't just a trap trick card. And that's just something I wanted to talk about, because I don't see that card a lot in trap trick stuff, but I don't really think the deck needs it. But it could be ran in a lot of other things as well. We're starting to see the Gate Guardian stuff is flooding the board. I will say too about Parallel Exceed, I just sold my copies for like a little over $4. Kind of disappointed. I should have waited it out a little bit longer, because I had them at $5. I think this card definitely has the potential to no longer be a penny stock though. I think that this is the best version of Parallel Exceed to buy. But I will say, when we look at all versions of Parallel Exceed, which we've talked about this card a few times, the best-selling one is the common. In fact, it's so well sold that it has less listings than the Prismatic Secret Rare. So that tells me that people don't really care about the highest rarity of Parallel Exceed. Right? And in the original version, sometimes that does happen. Like, if the original version is a common, but its newest version is a secret rare, sometimes the original version, like the first version, is still more expensive, is still more popular, and is still just like overall a better buy. Okay. Yeah, alright. we're just gonna do this now. No reason to go off anywhere else. Let's just go ahead and go to eBay. I always talk about when I'm trying to get full deck cores, I always go to eBay. I never really like going, because when you get from TCG Player, I've just had so many issues with sellers from TCG Player, and a lot of times what ends up happening, here's the thing, like, you get 15 copies, you get 15 cards of a deck from one person, and then 12 from another person, then 2 from another person. It almost never ends up working out. Whereas when we look at, I never know how to spell Guardian. When we look at eBay always has all this stuff right out, right at rock and roll. Right now, when we take a look at this, you do have to be careful with buying like stuff, especially because Konami is clearly doing this. Like, I was watching the DB Grinder, yes, and I reference the DB Grinder every now and again. And it was Naturia versus Kashtira, I believe. And it's just really interesting because, like, Naturia got a lot new support recently, as did Dark World, as did Trap Tricks, as has now Gate Guardian. And, you know, even if we just look at this, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. I mean, Red Eyes just got some new support. I mean, Red Eyes and Blue Eyes and all those are always getting new support. But when you are Ninja, that's another one too that just got a lot of new support. When you are buying cores like these from people, or you're trading for cores. Sometimes you can trade for cores, right? I talked about that on the channel before too. You just need to be careful what cards you're getting. Because when I look at Gate Guardian, right, like and I'll do this for you guys, but I recommend for anything that you do, like, you don't really have to do this for, you should, but you don't have to do this for every core that you're going to get, but especially when you're getting legacy support stuff, because a lot of times what people will do is they'll put in the bad legacy cards and call it the full deck, whereas, you don't even know at that point if you need those cards or not. I don't even know if this works to type it like that. Okay, so this kind of helps. When we look at this, I don't even know if that helped really. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't looked too much at this. Obviously, I've watched, Lithium's video. I think Jesse Cotton did a video as well. But I haven't looked at, like, I don't know to the extent that I feel like I need to know what, like, are the proper ratios. Because when I look at this and I see 3 copies of Asujin, right, or Sunjin, or is it Kakazen? Like, when I see this, I don't know if you need that many cards. Like, I don't know if you need that many copies of those cards. Now, I do like this type of thing because this gives you 50 cards, but, like, this is speed duel, actually. This is speed duel stuff, so don't even. I mean, you can use that, but I don't recommend it, to be honest. This one's interesting as well, because sometimes what they'll do is they we'll just give you a bunch of cards. This isn't the vibe either. This is not. Yeah, that's not the vibe. And so you just got to be careful when you're buying that. Let me check this out. $25. I think this gives us 3 copies of everything we're looking for. Feels like it. But just always make sure you're checking that out. This is a really good buy. This feels like a really good buy. Like, even if you're still missing some cards, I mean, you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You're getting 15 play sets of cards, right? So that's 45 cards for $25, which is pretty good. I know that when we look at the TCG marketplace, there's being sold for 50 cents, 55 cents, 25 cents. But like I said, it's all about ratios and who has what and who doesn't have this and who doesn't have that. So you just have to be very careful with all of that, because there are a lot of really cool cards. that came out with this, and there is the most optimized version of a Gate Guardian, whatever you want to call it, type deck. But you just need to be careful spending like $50 and still needing to spend 40 more bucks for the deck to be like what support cards to be ran. I don't actually know. Like I said, I've looked at what the deck does, but what exactly is a good deck profile? Like what are good cards to run at 2? What are good cards to run at 3? I'm not 100% sure on that. So just make sure you do your due diligence before spending your money. That is, the best advice I can give you there with that. But most of this on this first page is like Trap Trick stuff and Gate Guardian stuff. And I will say, as far as whether or not it's a good thing to buy, and that's why I said that core we just saw is a good buy. Like, they probably won't, but like, maybe they all get to $1, so you can make $20 off of that. If they get to 50 cents, I think if they stay at 50 cents forever, I think you lose money, right? Because it's 45 it's basically half of 44, which is 22, and you spend $25 on that. But if it's free shipping, then it ends up saving you money there a little bit. So you could do something like that where you just buy those 45 cards, even though it's just 15 cards, but just play sets of 15. But you buy those 45 cards at $25, and just hoping that it gets to $1, maybe, because it is possible. Because the Gate Guardian stuff, I mean, it's not like super duper popular. Like, I don't really see too many people running it before, but maybe because it got this new legacy support, a lot of people will be running it, right? So it's just something to keep in mind. We are going to go to the second page, though, real quick, just because, there's a lot of, like, the Gate Guardian stuff, Trap Trick stuff, different things like that. Let's talk about this card real quick, Fusion Deployment. So all versions of this appear to be a penny stock, and all versions appear to be up. As far as Fusion Deployment is concerned, this is a card that has always had a very unique effect. Just being able to special summon from your deck is insane. Like, even though Yu-Gi-Oh! Special summons from the deck, like every deck special summons, the Gate Guardian special summons from the deck now. But the fact that this card is just generic support that can do that is still really insane. The reason why this card never really saw a lot of play is because of the Accept Fusion Monsters clause, right? But when we see a deck like Branded, whose best card also says Accept Fusion Monsters, you can't special summon Accept Fusion Monsters. That's super big, the fact that Fusion Deployment ends up being utilized like that. I think it's a fantastic buy. I think all versions are a fantastic buy. The one with the least amount of versions, this has 32 listings available. So I would assume just on the first page, it's still a little under $5 on the first page. Still a little under $5 on the second page. Like literally $4.99, like literally staring at the $5 mark and not going over the line is kind of where this card is at. So it's not going to take much, I don't think. Let me take a look to see how many listings are 1, 4, 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 4. I don't think it would take a lot for someone to just drop $100 or $200, or maybe you watching at home are thinking about doing this, dropping $100 to $200, because you gotta think like $4 per copy for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 13. 4 times 13. Well, 4 times 10 is 40. Plus 12 is 52. So that's about $52. And then these are about $5. A little under $5, obviously. So 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, 16, 17, 18 at 5. So about 5 times 20 is about $100. So we're looking at about $150, $200, like I said. Someone might come in, swoop in, buy all the cards that are $5 or less for about $200, and come back in on this back end here and say that they're $10. And, now you have, you spent $150 on like I lost track of how many cards. I think it was like what was it, like 18 and 15 or something like that. 18 and 14. So 32ish, 30, 35. Let's say 35. You spent $150 on 35 cards, and they are now all $10 because you manipulated the market like that. Now you have 35 cards that are $10 that you bought, and so they're worth $350. You can sell them for $9 and still make a profit. Right, so just be on the lookout for the highest rarity version of Fusion Deployment. You don't want to miss out on it. It does feel like it's hit its peak, though. Like, I don't see a situation where this card could get more expensive, right? It's kind of like King of the Swamp. King of the Swamp got really... I wonder where King of the Swamp's actually at right now. King of the Swamp got really, really high when everybody thought the branded Despia deck was going to be insane. But like obviously now it's super calmed down. So whether or not Fusion Deployment will be like that, I'm not sure. If you just need your play sets, just get them from the structure deck. I think I still have mine from the structure deck because I bought the Cyber Strike structure deck. We spent actually, I think most of the last Market Watch I spent just talking about structure decks. And like, this is an insane structure deck now with infinite permanence and Fusion Deployment by itself carrying the load. But let me know what you guys think. What are some of the best cards that you are looking at under $5? Let me know in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys click that like button, show your support for the channel, subscribe for even more content, and most importantly of all, have a good day.